So let's check out the other side and show us how the liquid cooling works on this. Is this the first liquid cooled big twin?
No, it's not. We started that, what years was that? Back in 15, 16, we started with the liquid cooling on the baggers. I mean, earlier than that, the V-Rods obviously had it since 2001. But with these big boys, they just came back and tried to keep everything nice and tight. So the pump is actually down here. You have your reservoir right up here. And then you have lines that come up and they actually go right through your heads. You can barely even see them, but they hide them really well. And they go around the exhaust valves. They come right through here together in the center, cross over into this head, and then come back into this return line right back here. So it tries to keep everything nice and tight.
So that's called twin cooled? This
Twin
liquid,
cooled.
liquid and oil cooled?
Correct, yes.
And this high output version now with the stage 1 kit is 128 rear wheel horsepower. That's close to superbike horsepower in a touring bike, which is pretty awesome.
Pretty killer.
An American made touring bike, which is a new high watermark, I believe, for Harley-Davidson. They really did it good with this, with the performance rear suspension and the inverted forks, and it's a fantastic machine right out of the box. So what's next? What's the path from here with this bike? Where do we go next with this?
Next, we're working on the software engineers and all the gurus behind the scene for the tuning. You know, Harley-Davidson came out with their Street Tuner, which is a new Bluetooth to your phone, or you can buy a Y cable and do dyno tuning, which we did on this, which works pretty good. But once we really want to open it up, we need to be able to have a more advanced tuning system. So DynoJet's Power Vision, they're working on that. TTS, Steve Cole, he's working on his system. There is some other stuff out there like an Impact Wiring Solutions that has a replacement ECM that's totally tunable that I haven't gotten into yet. I know others that are working on it, so we'll see how they go. Or Thundermax, if they come out with something, it'd be interesting too.
I never, obviously, when I bought this to you, it already had the Thunder header on it, so we didn't really have a baseline. But did you dyno it before you tuned it?
We did. So yeah, when I got in there, I got it going and wanted to see how it did, and it was just around 100 horsepower when we started.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the way it ran.
Yeah, and it was actually backfiring a lot. It wasn't happy to start with.
So yeah, I can't wait to try it. Now you said it's a lot of fun to ride now,
Yeah,
huh?
for
So
sure.
what your final result was? You want to show them the dyno chart?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Explain that. Proof's in the pudding, I like to say.
So 128 horsepower and 144 torque.
That's pretty damn stout.
Pretty damn stout for sure. The torque comes on super early, 3,000 RPM. We're hitting around 140 foot-pounds of torque, and it stays there and it carries. There's no drop, nice and smooth, no dips.
That's a phenomenal job you did there. And I think what blew me away the most was that this is more horsepower than the 131 cubic inch stage 4 that we have over here in the 2021 Road King. This is Harley's off-the-shelf 131 before Matt worked his magic on it. He dynoed it. This is exactly the way it comes from the Harley dealer. It's still under warranty with the stage 4 131. So what was the result of this one, Matt?
This one did, what was it, like 122 horsepower?
I think yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So what was that? What
So
was
this
it at?
one was at 123 horsepower and 138 torque.
So 5 horsepower less and what, 7 foot-pound of torque
6,
less?
yeah.
So the 121 high output is pretty much a stage 1 is putting out more than a stage 4. Well, how is that? And why is that? And I know you're going to work your magic on this and blow these numbers away, but out of the box, what's the scoop with that? Why is
So they made some improvements to that, like some of the stuff we talked about. The liquid cooling helps us to keep our temperatures down, which allows us to run higher compression without increased heat. And so the more pressure you can build up, the more cylinder pressure, the more pressure you have pushing back down on your piston, which makes your power. We just have a big air pump, and the more pressure we can make, the better it is. And so even though this is a 4-valve head like that one as well, they made a ton of improvements on that cylinder head on these new motors. They changed the combustion chamber. They changed the intake track. So instead of like having a traditional round intake track, they changed it to more of like a square port. So that increases the flow a ton. And then instead of the off-camber way that this intake track goes in, they made that an on-center manifold.
both Milwaukee 8s,
Yes.
but that's the new improved one.
It's the new. It's like the second gen head, I guess you could call it.
It's almost good and bad news. Good news that we're putting down 128 horse, but bad news is there's not a big upgrade path to do what I've seen you do many times with this, which is damn near close to King of the Baggers Bagger Racing League numbers. I've seen you putting out. Now this is a stage 4 Harley-Davidson stage 4. What would the next step be for you, and how many horse would you predict we'll put down with this one if you're to guess?
We're gonna get this one up in the 140s for sure. We could see 150s.
And that's because you've had time in the aftermarket's had time with the tuners and the cams to get this dialed in.
Yeah.
But if you're putting down 128 out of the box on that with a stage 1 and a tune, there could be some real potential in that one to put down some.
100%. A lot of people are really excited, including me, on the potential of those. We've seen these, we were twin cams for the longest time, and then we got spoiled on these for a little while on how easy it is to make power, and then now we have a new platform over there with that new head. That it's exciting. It's fun.
I'd say they hit it out of the park to with the 24 CVO ST to be putting down that kind of power with a stage 1, just a pipe and a tuner is ridiculous, and the bike handles freaking awesome.
Yep. And then you always have to work around the EPA. You know, this one still has an EPA cam in there, an EPA regulated cam to make it street legal, California based, all that jazz. And so if we could change out that cam to a better camshaft, and then work with the intake system on here, and then get rid of the Screaming Eagle tuner that's in here also. That's an EPA regulated cam.
Yeah, for bagger racing, for off-road use, it doesn't have to be EPA compliant. So as we build one of these for Bagger Racing League, we can take off the restrictions and really let it breathe.
You got it.
So if you want the best performance bagger parts or big twin parts, or if you want to build an FXR from the ground up, give Matt a call at Souter Speed in Bristol, Connecticut. This is all he does is big twins. We just talked about. I asked him would he be willing to work on the Super Cruiser, and he said yeah. So we might be have a Super Cruiser over here on the dyno before too long. And we're doing a pipe on the Hammerhead in the SX. Matter of fact, tonight I'm picking up the bike with the pipe that we just had engineered for it. So I'm looking forward to that. So some really cool V twin stuff coming down the pike. As we're in the front room here, and talk about total moto candy. Look at this, man. Describe what we're looking at here.
So these are the Brox BST wheels, all carbon fiber. They're actually made out of South Africa.
Are these going on that 143 monster
These
that
are
you're
going to
building?
go with the 143, correct? Yeah.
I can't wait to come back and see that one. Now you're that 143 S&S block in the new M8. You're predicting what upwards of a.
We'd like to see 180, no problem. If we can get up to 200, who wouldn't be?
That's super bike power levels. That's factory bagger
This weighs
racing.
about 11 pounds.
How does that compare to a stock one? As far as what a stock one weighs?
More than half.
Wow, that's a lot of unsprung weight too, huh?
Correct.
It is absolutely freaking gorgeous. I love it.
They're beautiful, right? The weave on them.
Oh, it's really. I want to clear coat the front fender on my ST. I seen one done recently, and it looked beautiful. They clear coated it, and it's like a matte finish now.
And so these Galfers, you can get the different color buttons. So we're gonna match that up with these Behringer brakes here.
That's badass.
Yeah.
So you're working with the new forks, the new inverted forks on the 24 ST. You've got some tricks up your sleeve to improve on the factory performance of those too, right?
Yeah, we're working with Kevin at Big Bear, and he's been helping us out revalve them and get them set up.
Very cool. Yep. So basically a revalve. The cool part about the new CVO ST inverted forks is you're looking at about a $5,000 upgrade to put inverted forks on a regular road glide, right?
Yeah. Plus, I've seen them up to 10 for some of those guys.
Yeah. And once you do the triple clamps and everything else, and it comes from the factory with the good brakes, the Brembo brakes. So it'll be pretty cool to see what Big Bear's got and what you're going to put together with him with the Olin shocks in the back. That should really be. They call it a track ready bike, so to speak, right out of the box, but. I don't know if the production suspension is up to.
Everything can use a little massaging, a little smooth it out,
When you're doing 140 on the straightaway, or they were doing 180 miles an hour at Daytona, 186 miles an hour on these Bagger Racing League bikes, and it just King of the Baggers bikes. It blew my mind, and they sound wicked. But that's where you need the best wheels, the best. What swing arm is this?
This is from A1 Cycles. That's his swing arm. That thing is only 12 pounds.
Wow. Is that going on a...
Sorry, 12 pounds less than stock.
Is that going on a bagger?
That's going on the road. They're all
this
going
one,
together. This is all for the Road King.
So so you lose 12 pounds there and 12 here?
Yeah.
25 pounds between a swing arm and a...
I was actually thinking about it the other day. I wish I had a full scale, something to actually weigh that bike. You know, and then that's the pipe that's going on the back. But so you take out the full exhaust and you
Look
put
at that.
That Burns stainless on there.
Wow, whose stainless pipe is
Burns
this?
stainless.
Burns.
Yeah.
It's freaking gorgeous. Wow, what is that? That's over 2 inches, isn't it? It's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Wow, that must sound wicked. Man. Very, very nice.
And then we open up the intake. So we traditionally have a 1/900 intake manifold. But we opened this up to a 2-inch intake here too. So this is what I was talking about, the on-center. You see your Milwaukee 8s, they usually kick over like this to kick over for the electronic throttle body on this side. But this one's machined here.
That's moto art right there. It's freaking beautiful. It is something.
So that's a monster.
That
This
is,
is from V-Twin Performance. He's making
that's
this
how you
stuff.
get 180, 200 horse out of a
There's also
motorcycle.
O-ring in it too, instead of running your...
Wow.
So it's got dual O-rings on there.
No leakage there.
No leakage.
And if you're going to go fast, you got to stop it too, right?
Yes, sir.
Behringer's, that's the best in the business right there.
You got it.
You're using the SNS oil pump.
Yeah, that's oil pump cam plate.
143 cubic inches.
Yes.
How many cc's is that? Have you figured it out?
No, I didn't actually figure that
I got to
out.
do the math, but that's got to be
Yeah.
20. You want to show them the block?
Yeah, that's the block there.
Look at this. Wow. Milwaukee 8, 143. Bigger bore, more
Dark
power.
Horse crank, Carrillo rods.
Wow.
SNS cases. Bored out even larger to fit the large.
So what'd you do? You're not using any of the components from the stock engine then at that point, right?
We're pulling the whole crate motor out from the stock engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all just going to be brand new from the bottom up.
That's serial number 59X. Wow. So they made 59 of these.
Yeah, because they just started making those not too long ago.
SNS was doing the Harley engine rebuilds and building Harley engine parts, and they've been working with Harley forever, haven't they?
Yes, they have for a long time. I don't know what it's been, 40, 50 years?
They're like the skunk works. They're like the performance division for Harley, where they don't have to deal with the corporate red tape to do really cool stuff like this.
You got it.
That's badass. What are we looking at here?
So this is just a stock case. This is actually for a twin cam, but all of our stock cases, when you're pouring cast metal, material costs money, so they want to save as much money as possible. So they have all these cutouts where they don't really need it, and then they cut out inside here where the spigot is. But then when you come over to the SNS cases, they wanted these to be as strong as humanly possible, so they kept everything completely solid where it needed to be. You have your oil passages and stuff where you need to be hollow, and then if you look inside here, you can see how stout all this is.
Wow.
Because when the motor's together, it seems like everything's really solid. But now if you start to think about it, you got the cylinder here and then the head on top of here. And so you're pulling on these threads all the way down here, all the way up to here. And so you're going to want all this material down here to be, that's your foundation. You want it to be as strong as you can possibly make it,
Do you have to balance these cranks here, or is that
Dark
done
Horse took care of it for us,
right from the factory? Because I know it's something you've done. You did that for my friend Jerry Rothman. He did his, and it was
so
awesome.
this one, these have a counterbalancer from the factory up front here. And so we removed it and balanced it to make it all.
I got to come out and video this thing when it's done, because this is going to be the hottest Harley east of the Mississippi. I imagine. I don't think they've been anything better than that on the East Coast. It probably has more horse than the factory teams are running. They're not running a 143, right?
Yeah, we have a little less restrictions. I think they have some rules they got to work with.
Yeah. No rules here. Just make it faster.
Yes, sir.
And better. So what's the scoop with the top end on this monster?
So the top end, T-Man Performance down in North Carolina, they helped us out with all that jazz. So we got their pistons, cylinders, all their headwork, their +4, +2 head, their 4x2 head that they're all about right now. They helped us out with opening up the head to the 2-inch to fit this manifold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whose bearings are those?
These are worldwide bearings. So these are ceramic bearings. They're killer. They create less heat, less friction. Anywhere that you have a ball bearing, you could run one of those. So we run them in the wheel bearings. We run them in the transmission and the main drive gear bearing.
If you're going to be going 200 miles an hour on your Harley, you don't want to be worrying about your bearings.
Yeah. And so you can get it when you order these BSTs. You can get it with or without the ceramic bearings. So we got it with, obviously, and you can feel it. I'm telling you, you roll one of these bikes, just rolling it across the lot, you could tell that there's less resistance. So now you're freeing up horsepower because your motor is getting dragged down by all that parasitic loss, anything after the motor. So we want to free up as much as we can.
Not just 200 horsepower super bike engine V-twin, but you also have the lightweight, unsprung weight swing arm. What are you doing for shocks?
That's the thing I got to talk to him about because that's
Yeah.
not on his list, but
Yeah.
we need it obviously.
What's the best thing out there right now, in your opinion?
I gotta say Olin's.
Olin's?
And Big Bear, they're my go-tos.
Yeah,
They
they're running
don't do
those.
me wrong.
Harley wouldn't be running them on their factory bike if it
course.
wasn't any good, right?
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. Well, I can't wait to see what you come up with next. You're not using the.
No, we're not using the Baker. We got this transmission actually that's gonna be going in that bike.
What is this?
This is Simon Motorsports.
Wow.
So he uses. There's a lot of different ways to go with transmissions out there, but this is Simon Motorsports logo there. This is his shift drum here, which helps to move our gears over faster and properly, fully engaging the gears, so we're not breaking any teeth off.
Now your career was you were building helicopter engines for the military and working on military helicopters. Are these a lot easier to work on than helicopters, or what?
Well, I think for me they're easier because I can do them by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could just everything's precision. I think that's what actually helped me appreciate the precision of tooling and machining and wrenching and that sort of philosophies. And I kind of transferred it as much as I could to the motorcycle world.
Well, if that's like the best resume you could ask for is a background in working on military helicopter engines to building high performance street production based Harley-Davidson engines. I mean, this thing is going to be the baddest thing on the road, man, and it's got all the best components going with it. So I can't wait to see this thing when it's done, guys. Definitely want to come back before you ship this out and do a video on that bike.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for showing us these Skunk Works top secret stuff here.